hanging tough on hospital capacity. We have about 30-something% of the beds still remaining in Osceola, and an additional 30-something% left in Polk, but nearly 60%, around 55, 58% of hospital capacity in Orange County. So we are doing our best and going to talk about some of the resources we just got to our hospitals. They received the first funds today. La capacidad de los hospitales está manteniendo en un rato más o menos bueno. Hay 30% de capacidad de hospitales y en Osceola y un poquito más de 30% en el condado de Polk. Y en Orange nosotros tenemos una capacidad de casi 60% para tener más camas por personas que están enfermas con coronavirus. We took the unprecedented step of passing the largest relief package in the history of the Congress 2 weeks ago, the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Securities Act, also known as the CARE Act. En 2 semanas no pasado, nosotros pasamos un proyecto de ley más grande en la historia de la nación para una respuesta y recuperación del coronavirus. This was a $2.2 trillion package. I like saying it in español even more because it sounds even better. 2,000 millones dólares. And it provides for a few key provisions that I'm going to go into. Hay provisiones muy importantes yo voy a discutir ahora. First, there are $1,200 individual checks for most Americans, particularly Americans making $75,000 a year or less, and $500 per child. Hay cheques ustedes va a recibir quien gana $75,000 por año o menos y $500 por niño. Por ejemplo, una familia quien gana $150,000 o menos por año va a recibir un cheque por $3,400 y esta es una familia de 4 miembros. In addition, for those who make between $75,000 and $99,000 a year, you'll be receiving a smaller check. Por personas ganando $75,000 a $99,000, ustedes van a recibir un cheque con cantidad más pequeño. If you received your tax return or you receive your Social Security benefit through direct deposit, that's the manner you're going to receive this funding, and it should come in next week for direct deposits. Si ustedes reciben su fondo por su devolución de impuestos directamente a su banco o su beneficio de seguro social directamente a su banco, usted va a recibir este pago directamente a su banco también. Y ustedes no necesitan escribir nada más por aplicaciones o otros papeles. There's no other paperwork you're going to have to fill out as a Social Security beneficiary or as a taxpayer. Y este depende en su devolución de impuestos por 2018 o 2019 for your 2018-2019 tax returns. For those of you who receive your tax return by physical check to your residence, it's going to be key for you to sign on to a option on the IRS next week to request direct deposit, because it could take a week or 2 weeks, depending on how much you make, as to when you're going to receive that check physically. They're going to start with those who make the least money to get the checks first. So it's going to be really important for everybody who doesn't get their tax return or the 1% tax refund directly to your bank account, or the 1% of Social Security recipients who don't get their check directly deposited to the bank account, to fill this out next week. And we're going to have information on it. Es muy importante, si usted recibe sus fondos por su devolución de impuestos o sus fondos por su seguro social, con un cheque físico, con un papel, para tratar y entregar su información en un sitio de un website nuevo del IRS para preguntar por un depósito directamente a su banco, o usted puede esperar una semana o semanas. Our intent was to get these checks out in April, and for many people that'll happen, which is why we need to make sure those who don't have direct deposits sign up and look out for that information coming out next week. You'll also be able to monitor the status of your check through that website as well. Muy esencial, vamos a tener noticias cómo para aplicar por un depósito directamente a nuestras website y Facebook y otras maneras. Y usted también puede confirmar el estatus de su cheque en este website también. The second major provision of the CARES Act that's going to affect a lot of people, we're able to secure a new $600 per week for up to 4-month federal unemployment benefit, in addition to the $275 per week in state benefits for up to 12 weeks. Nosotros tenemos una gran oportunidad por desempleados. Hay un beneficio nuevo federal por $60 por semana por mucho 4 meses. Este es en adición al beneficio estatal por $275 por 12 semanas. And you can apply for both through the same application, either online or by paper application now. Ustedes pueden aplicar por estos beneficios, el beneficio federal y el beneficio estatal, en el mismo proceso en el Internet, con el estado de Florida o con aplicaciones de papeles. I know that this has been a real difficulty for many people, waiting hours on the line or getting their applications dropped on the website. And I could tell you we gave the state $29 million last Friday from the U.S. Department of Labor to help fix that system. I know our state delegation is working very hard in Central Florida to fix it as well. And they just added 72 new servers to help out. So it should start getting better. But for anybody who's been frustrated by the internet, by the website, or by calling, I encourage you to fill out a paper application and work with your state legislators. And you may be able to send that by mail now, and I think pretty soon via email or directly through an internet portal. I know we have some state legislators on the phone who will talk about that, and we'll give an opportunity in a little bit. Yo entiendo este sistema por internet, por estatal, por desempleados, es un desastre. Nosotros proporcionamos $29 millones, 29 millones este viernes pasado para ayudar el Estado para arreglar este problema. Y también hay 72 servidores, computadores nuevos para ayudar a este sistema. Y hay aplicaciones por papel. Mi recomendación es para trabajar con nuestros legisladores estatales. Si usted tiene problemas con el website o por teléfono, con una aplicación por papel, y ustedes pueden enviarlo por correo. Y hay una posibilidad muy pronto en un futuro para enviar este por internet también. Yo entiendo, nosotros tenemos campeones con nuestra delegación estatal luchando para arreglar esta situación. Another part of it is 6 months forbearance for student loans. I know that is a huge issue for many Hispanic students and those who graduated already. So this should give you some reprieve. In addition, a huge program for the Hispanic community. Hay una diferencia de pagos por préstamos de estudiantes por educación por mucho a 6 meses. Yo entiendo es muy importante para muchos estudiantes y otras personas con préstamos de educación para ayudar durante esta situación muy difícil. In addition, there's a huge new program for small businesses of $367 billion in loan programs. Hay oportunidades nuevas muy grandes por negocios pequeños, por fondos más que $367 mil millones. The first program is the emergency grant program that you can apply for up to $10,000 for an emergency grant for small businesses. Hay un préstamo que es gratis por 10,000 para ayudar negocios pequeños. Usted puede aplicar. The second program is the biggest program, which is the Paycheck Protection Program, which will allow you to get a loan for up to 2.5 months that will be 100% forgiven, provided you keep all your employees, because we're focused on jobs, we're focused on keeping people employed. Hay un otro programa muy grande, el programa de protección de pagos de ingreso por empleados, Paycheck Protection Program, y usted puede tener un préstamo para mucho a 2 meses y mitad para ayudar con pagando sus empleados, y préstamo puede estar gratis si usted siga todos sus empleados y no termina sus empleados. There's no personal guarantee or collateral that you need to file for this loan. No hay una seguridad o garantía personal para tener estos préstamos. It's not an all or nothing thing. So if you can keep a percentage of your payroll, then you could get that percentage forgiven. No está todo o nada. Si usted puede seguir 1% de sus empleados, usted puede tener crédito por este % para terminar parte de su préstamo. I did want to mention one thing about the unemployment benefits that I didn't mention before. We did expand unemployment benefits to more than just employees, but also independent contractors and other workers in the gig economy. Yo necesito discutir otra vez una otra parte del beneficio federal por desempleados. Usted puede estar un desempleado o una persona quien pierda horas, o también un contratador, una persona quien recibe una 1099 forma de impuestos. So it'll apply to those who get 1099 tax forms as well. And so that's a key part. But that's just for the federal program. And then back to the Paycheck Protection Act, you can apply with your existing lender, with whatever bank or credit union you already work with. Usted puede aplicar con su banco o su unión de crédito que usted tiene relaciones ahora. This is going to be much easier than going to the SBA or the SBDCs. Because you'll be able to process the application quicker. Es más fácil para usar su banco o su unión de crédito ahora, pero su alternativo es el administración de negocios pequeños o el SBDC programa. Usted puede contactar en Orlando or in Lake Wales. But for those who are unbanked, who are businesses, you can go to the SBA or SBDCs. Over $100 billion of this $350 billion fund has already been spoken for as of yesterday. It's only been out for now, this is the 6th day. So we really encourage all of our Hispanic entrepreneurs, please apply now. Hay más de $100 mil millones en la alocación que está gastado ya. Es muy importante para todos los dueños de negocios para aplicar ahora. La aplicación es solamente 2 páginas. It's only a 2-page application because there's no security or personal guarantee. I did want to talk about a few other aspects too. We have a $500 billion lending fund for major industries. Hay un fondo nuevo por negocios muy grandes y por ciudades y estados por $500 mil millones. And we have new oversight because there were big problems with a similar type of fund under the American Investment Act during the Great Recession. Nosotros tenemos reglas nuevas, restricciones nuevas, porque era problemas con un fondo parecido durante la recesión grande, the Great Recession. We have an oversight board and also banned share buybacks, excess dividends and bonuses for executives. Hay una prohibición en bonuses por ejecutivos y jefes, y hay una prohibición por profitos excesivos por los shareholders y también para comprar los shares también. And then we also have an oversight committee and an inspector general. Hay un comité de investigaciones en el Congreso y hay un inspector general también para ayudar. Another key part is $130 billion for our hospitals, of which they receive $30 billion today across the nation. I've been in constant contact with Advent Health, Orlando Health, with Osceola Regional, with Baycare and other key hospitals in the district. And we're continuing to forward their supply requests each day to help them get what they need. Hay $130 mil millones por los hospitales para ayudar a todos los hospitales en Florida Central, y el primer parte, el $30 mil millones, ellos recibieron hoy. Y yo estoy contactando los hospitales de Orlando Health, Advent Health, Baycare, Osceola Regional y otros, cada día para determinar los recursos ellos necesitan para responder a esta crisis. I did want to go into one or two more things, and then I'm going to go down to our state share and some of the individual efforts we've worked on. Casi $50 mil millones para asistencia de comida y por nuestras agriculturas. Hay otra $30 mil millones para ayudar a nuestra militaria, el Guardia Nacional y nuestros veteranos y miembros de servicio. There's over $30 billion to help out the U.S. military, National Guard, our VA and our VA hospitals, nuestros hospitales de veteranos también. There's another $50 billion fund to help out with transportation and housing. Hay un fondo de casi $50 mil millones para transportación y para haciendas. This is going to help out Lynx and Citrus Connection, Sunrail, Amtrak, and Orlando International Airport, as well as help with the HUD programs. Este va a ayudar mucho de nuestros recursos de transportación, incluye Lynx y los otros, yo dice ya. And it's going to be a key complement to the fact that the state kept all of the Sadowski funds this year, and I applaud our state legislators for doing that. Este va a ayudar con haciendas afordables en cooperación con el fondo de Sadowski, el fondo estatal, que es el primer año nosotros tenemos todos los fondos, y mucho aplauso a nuestros legisladores estatales. Y finalmente en el CARES Act hay $30 mil millones para una estabilización de fondos por educación. Mitad va a estar por la respuesta de coronavirus y mitad por tecnología para aprendiendo afuera. And half of it's going to go to higher ed, half of it's going to go to K through 12 with a $30 billion fund to help out with the coronavirus response and the technical requirements for distance learning. And this is going to be key with so many of our kids at home. We had our education teleconference yesterday with our superintendents, our teachers unions, with our school board members and others to talk about a lot of those needs. Nosotros sabemos que muchos estudiantes en sus hogares que hay muchas necesidades por tecnología, y nosotros tuvimos una teleconferencia ayer con superintendentes y maestros y los uniones y miembros de las comisiones de escuelas locales. And my wife got to also testify as a teacher right now who's working in distance learning. Mi esposa puede asistir también ayudando. I did want to go briefly into some of the letters we've led on that are key for Florida. Yo quiero discutir las cartas. Nosotros escribimos en mi oficina. First, we fought on a bipartisan basis with a bipartisan letter for a foreclosure and eviction ban. I know many of our nonprofits also sent letters, and I'm pleased to announce, many of you may know already, that Governor DeSantis included a 45-day moratorium on foreclosures and evictions in his executive order. Nosotros luchamos con una carta bipartista para una prohibición en evicciones y ejecuciones de hipotecas. Yo entiendo muchas organizaciones caridades ayudan mucho con cartas también. Y yo estoy muy alegre para anunciar hay una prohibición de 45 días por estas evicciones y ejecuciones de hipotecas. We also led a bipartisan letter with the Florida delegation to stop utility shutoffs. This is key when we're asking people to stay at home to have their power, clean water, and their waste services. Nosotros liderazamos una carta bipartista para parar terminación de utilidades, agua, energía y servicios de basura. Es muy importante por salud cuando nosotros estamos preguntando por todas las familias para quedar en sus hogares. We also worked in a bipartisan fashion to help stop internet shutoffs nationwide, knowing how essential it is for everybody to be able to participate and speak and work as they need to. Nosotros liderazamos una otra carta para parar apagando los servicios de internet, and this has been included in the FCC's orders. So I want to also talk about Florida's share. We are going to receive about $12 billion to the state of Florida, either directly or to local governments. Florida va a recibir $12 millones por el gobierno estatal y los gobiernos locales también. There's going to be $8.3 billion for the state and local budgets, including $4.6 billion of that will go to the state directly. Hay $8.3 millones por estado, incluye gobiernos locales, incluye $4.6 millones por estado, y el resto va a estar recibido a los gobiernos locales. And there'll be another $3.7 billion to help out with various different programs, from education to food assistance to housing and others. Hay otro $3.7 millones por estatal para alocaciones de salud y haciendas y otros programas. We've already received major grants for our district, for local governments as of last week. Recibimos también fondos por nuestros gobiernos locales en la semana pasada. Kissimmee received $426,000. Kissimmee recibe $426,000. Orlando received over $2.6 million. Orlando recibe $2.6 millones. Lo siento, $2.6 million. St. Cloud received nearly $200,000. St. Cloud recibe $200,000. Polk received over $3.3 million. El Condado de Polk recibe $3.3 millones. Osceola received $936,000. Nuestra Condado de mi hogar, Osceola recibe $936 mil and Orange received $6.1 million. Nuestra Condado de Orange recibe $6.1 million también. And we're working on additional funds for smaller cities under 50,000. They were unfortunately left out of this first round, so that is a big battle we're fighting right now. Nosotros estamos todavía trabajando por ciudades menos a 50,000 personas, porque ellos no reciben fondos directamente en ese momento, pero esta es una gran batalla. Nosotros vamos a continuar luchando. We also are receiving a lot of grants for our local health clinics. In Polk County, we received $1.7 million. Nuestras clínicas públicos por Polk recibe $1.7 million. And the health clinics for Osceola received $1.4 million in funds for health clinics. Los clínicas públicos de Osceola recibe $1.4 million. And then Orange received most of their money through the grants that I just mentioned. Going forward, we expect this week or next week, we'll have an extension of many of these key programs because we know that this could go on well through the end of May. Hopefully, we'll be getting back to normal by then, but we need to be prepared. Nosotros vamos a tener extensiones de muchos programas. Yo expliqué ya, yo espero nosotros vamos a tener una situación normal o casi normal hasta el fin de mayo, pero nosotros estamos trabajando para estar preparados. And so we could see extensions of the unemployment benefit beyond the 4 months, more funding for small businesses, more funding for hospitals, state and local governments, 15% increase in food assistance, and possibly an additional round of stimulus checks. Nosotros podemos tener una extensión de beneficios de desempleados, beneficios de negocios pequeños, y fondos por hospitales, estados y gobiernos locales, y un aumento de 15% por existencia de comida. I want to finish by talking a little bit about the aid to Puerto Rico and how this is affecting our immigrant communities in the Hispanic community and beyond, knowing that that's a key part of what we're working on right now. Yo quiero para discutir en el fin los fondos por Puerto Rico y también cómo es afectando comunidades de inmigrantes, especialmente en la comunidad hispana y otras comunidades inmigrantes. So first, Puerto Rico is eligible for most of the relief I just described, just like states. Puerto Rico está elegible en la misma manera a estados por muchos de estos beneficios. They'll receive the stimulus checks, federal unemployment benefits, and small business relief. Ellos van a recibir los cheques de stimulus, los beneficios de desempleados y ellos están elegibles por los préstamos gratis por negocios pequeños. Puerto Rico also received $3 billion in coronavirus funding relief along with the other territories for public health emergencies. Since they are by far the largest of the 5 territories in DC, they will get more than half of the funds. Just to give you an idea, there's 3.2 million people living in Puerto Rico, while there's about 700,000 living in DC. And then the rest of the territories have about 150,000 people or less. So when you put that together into a percentage, Puerto Rico does very well, and so they're going to get more than half that funding. Puerto Rico va a recibir más de mitad, el $3 millones para fondos para salud, emergencia por público, porque ellos están más grandes que los otros territorios y el Distrito de Columbia. Ellos van a recibir muchos de estos fondos. In addition, Puerto Rico is receiving $200 million as a set-aside for nutrition assistance to share along with American Samoa and Northern Mariana Islands. And again, because of their population, they'll probably get about 80+% of that funding. Ellos están recibiendo en Puerto Rico $200 millones, un por ciento grande de este, más o menos 80 o más por ciento, para compartir con Samoa Americano y las islas norte de Mariana. And finally, there's an additional $100 million appropriated for under the Families First Act for public health services that they got in the Families First Act we passed 4 weeks ago. Ellos reciben $100 millón de dólares con American Samoa and Northern Mariana Islands. En familias primera proyecto de ley, nosotros pasamos más o menos 3 a 4 meses en el pasado. And they also are able to have some flexibility with the HUD dollars, Community Development Block Grant dollars, that they've received already through the disaster relief for Hurricane Maria. Todavía tenemos flexibilidad también por los fondos por comunidades con fondos federales por haciendas. Finally, I want to talk a little bit about how the how the CARES Act is treating our immigrant communities. Yo quiero discutir cómo la asistencia del CARES Act, el acta de CARES, está afectando nuestras comunidades de inmigrantes. We put everyone included into our House bill. And unfortunately, the Senate fought to take out those ITIN numbers. And so unfortunately, folks who have ITIN numbers, which is the majority of the immigrant community, won't be eligible for these stimulus checks. Nosotros incluimos en nuestra proyecto de ley en la Cámara de los Estados Unidos inmigrantes con ITIN números, identificación por impuestos individual, pero el Senado negaron esta oferta y desafortunadamente no es incluido en este proyecto de ley en el fin. Entonces, muchos de nuestra comunidad inmigrante no puede recibir esta asistencia. For Dreamers, it depends on whether they have a Social Security number or not. Many Dreamers, because they were eligible under DACA, do have Social Security numbers, so they will be eligible for these funds. Por los Dreamers, los soñadores que tiene el programa de DACA, ellos eran elegibles por aplicar por números de seguro social. Entonces, si Dreamers tiene el número de seguro social, ellos son elegibles por estos cheques de stimulus. And some non-immigrants, like H-1B and L workers, do qualify if they live here for more than 6 months per year. Hay unos inmigrantes en el programa de H1, de B y L, los obradores quien trabaja y vive aquí por más de 6 meses. Where there is other problems is when you have mixed status families. And this has to get fixed in the next bill because it's a disgrace. If you are a citizen and your spouse is not a citizen, or your children are citizens, but you are not a citizen, mixed status families are not eligible for the rebate as the statute requires for both parents to have a Social Security number unless one is in the military. This is something that has to be fixed. Si hay una familia mixta con un ciudadano y un inmigrante sin un número de seguro social, o los niños son ciudadanos y el resto de la familia no son ciudadanos, ellos no están elegibles por estos fondos. Y este es una tragedia que nosotros necesitamos arreglar. For unemployment, any person lawfully present with a valid work authorization will qualify, such as DACA recipients with a valid work authorization. So there are many immigrants who are here with work visas, and there are many DACA recipients who have work visas. In fact, the vast majority of them who got DACA then requested a work authorization. So they're all eligible for the employment benefits. Si una soñador quien tiene el programa de DACA tiene una autoridad para trabajar, ellos pueden cualificar por los beneficios desempleados, y por inmigrantes quien tiene autoridad para trabajar aquí, ellos también son elegibles por el beneficios de desempleados. Este solamente cualifica por los beneficios federales. I know that's a lot of information, and I know being able to do it in both languages can take quite a while, so I appreciate everybody's patience, but I want to make sure that everybody, regardless of their ability to speak English and Spanish, has an understanding of these programs. Yo entiendo, es muy largo para explicar en ambos idiomas, todas estas provisiones muy complicadas, pero es muy importante por mí y yo entiendo por ustedes también, para asegurar toda nuestra comunidad puede entender estos programas, cualquier su preferencia de su idioma. With that, we're going to go into the question and answer portion. Feel free to ask your questions in English or in Spanish. If you're asking in Spanish, always speak slow because this is my second language too. I do want to start because I know we have our Senator Victor Torres on the phone to give him an opportunity before our first question to make any comments or questions that you may have, Senator. And thank you, Senator Torres, for being on the line.
Thank you, Congressman Soto. It's always a pleasure getting on these calls week after week and being updated. Quiero decirle a la comunidad, yo he hablado con Telemundo, con Univisión, sobre el desempleo, los efectos de la familia inmigrante. You just answered I had one of the questions on immigrants where their children are American citizens and they're being denied their right to receive assistance. This has to be addressed. This needs to change because they are, like everybody else in America, their parents receive assistance in what they need. I just feel we're at a time that this country has ever experienced. We as elected officials try to do the best we can, what we have in our agencies. And sometimes this has shown the lack of keeping up with technology and keeping up with the necessities of our constituents. The 29, and you answered another question, the 29 million to help the state to upgrade their system. Well, you know, this is another fiasco that's happening here in Florida. They can't keep up with the work. Los 29 millones que ustedes mandaron al estado de Florida para el tema de desempleo todavía sigue y muchas personas no pueden conseguir el desempleo. Y acuérdese que el desempleo no es retroactive. Y eso es una de las cosas que nos está afectando a muchas de las familias cuando pueden mandar su aplicación. Le quiero decirle a los que están escuchando, pueden ir a FedEx, pueden llenar la aplicación en inglés y español y FedEx se la envía gratis al estado de Florida. No tienen que pagar. Estos son los beneficios que por fin están haciendo por los trabajadores. Cada día y cada semana son más personas que están desempleados. Y una de las cosas que quiero preguntarle, I want to ask you, Congressman, the $600 stimulus money, is that based on salary or is just that's the 600 is for everyone no matter what you earn?
I believe it's based upon a salary up to $600, but most people should qualify for that. And we're going to get all the details of that out to everybody on this call in English and Spanish to explain it more. But my understanding is it's up to $600, but most people should qualify for that $600. So we're going to get that answer out to you. Yo creo es a mucho, a $600, dependiendo de su ingreso, pero yo creo la mayoría de personas va a cualificar por y va a enviar información por email a todos las personas en esta llamada. And I do want to say, I know, Senator, you've been fighting hard to try to get that retroactive credit for folks who applied a week, 2, 3 weeks ago and still haven't received their benefits yet. Right. And I saw just this morning in the paper that the governor mentioned that he is considering that. So keep pushing, because I think we got them on the ropes. They know how, I mean, it's terrible out there. I mean, I can't make light of it. No one can make light of it. It's just people are suffering and they got to step up. Yeah. And we have, and I know you're fighting to make sure they step up. You know, I really think there's a great opportunity for you to use the bipartisan CARES Act improvements to the federal. I mean, there was no federal unemployment benefit before, so the creation of and the regulations surrounding the federal benefit, and use that as wind in your sails to fight for the same provisions in the state. And I know that you're already thinking of that. We've talked about that already, but I certainly encourage you to do that. Nuestra senadora era luchando para una actividad retro para tener todos sus pagos de beneficios de desempleados a la fecha de su aplicación y no tener esta situación por mucho tiempo cuando usted no recibe nada. Y este día el gobernador DeSantis dice él está abierto a tener beneficios retroactivos, crédito por lo pasado. And nosotros tenemos una oportunidad grande para tratar y tener mejores de nuestro sistema por beneficios estatales. Por ejemplo, en el gobierno, en el beneficio federal, aplica a empleados quien pierda su trabajo, desempleados, empleados quien tienen una corta de sus horas, y personas quien son contratadores, quien recibe 1099, la forma del IRS, o trabaja en la economía de Internet, de gig. Todas esas personas cualifican por este beneficio federal, pero ellos no van a cualificar por el beneficio estatal. Y nuestros senadores son campeones luchando por este. Y el beneficio federal es $600, el beneficio estatal es $275, el beneficio federal es por 4 meses, el beneficio estatal es por 12 semanas. So but this was supported by a bipartisan group of folks in Washington, so make sure to remind your colleagues of that, and I know you will, Vic.
And thank you, Congressman. And I want to remind that Career Source is another form of, they're going to have the applications available in their offices and probably next week sometime, so they can go there and send their applications. I just want to say to everyone, the $275, like everything else, is based on salary, what you earn. Be aware of that. You know, that's one of the questions that I've asked my staff to look into. I also asked the governor to give us, instead of the 12 weeks that they passed a couple of years ago, to give us the 26 weeks, los 26 semanas que el gobierno federal está pasando, en debe de 12 semanas, 26 semanas, y subir los 275 pesos a la semana. A ver si este gobernador hace lo que él dijo para mejorar la vida de nuestra familia. Otra vez le quiero dar las gracias al congresista, y si hay otra pregunta, gracias otra vez, congresista, por la oportunidad.
Y gracias por liderazando en una manera muy fuerte por la comunidad hispana, Senador Torres. Shayla, we're going to open it up now to questions, and she'll make sure to get everybody in the queue, and we have plenty of time for those. Vamos a tener preguntas ahora.
Please remember to unmute yourselves if you're on Zoom video, and to press *6 if you're on the phone. Por favor, si quieren hacer una pregunta y han llamado por teléfono, aprieten estrella 6. Por video, aprieten el botón que diga unmute, que está en la parte de arriba de su video.
I would like to make a question. My name is Mildred Wright. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi, Congressman. How you doing today? I know you're very
there. I hope you are too.
well. This is one. It is right now in the middle of the pandemic. The services workers, they are going out to work without masks because the fact that they work with public, it's given a bad impression. And what about those employees? How are we going to protect them in the other side? For example, the ones that work at Walmart, at the airport, where I used to work, with a lot of public, and I don't have no way to protect myself because they tell me that don't wear masks because that's not professional to deal with the public. And it's my concern to protect myself too.
Yes, that's a great question. So I've already signed on to letters and bills to try to include the new CDC recommendations in our OSHA protections for workers. It's a disgrace that we have some employers who still don't get it, that we are in a pandemic, the likes of which we haven't had in 100 years, since 1918. And so for individual employers, I encourage all of our constituents to reach out to us. While we can't tell individual employers what to do, we can write laws and then they have to follow the laws, and OSHA has to crack down on them. We will work with you to help file an OSHA complaint, and potentially that could encourage the employers to do the right thing. In the meantime, though, we'll keep pushing because this has to be part of the OSHA workforce rights. Those are the occupation and safety and health rights that the federal government puts out. Many of you may know many of them, like being able to getting paid for working overtime, by not being forced to do work that could hurt or injure you, that you have a right to workers' compensation, that for certain physical jobs, there's certain requirements for those as well. So it's absolutely essential, Mildred, that we get all these new CDC recommendations in to the federal regulations for workers' rights, because it's a disgrace that anybody, and when you think about it from a public health perspective, who wants to get their meal from someone without a mask on or gloves right now? Like, it works both ways. I'm so proud of all those servers and the folks who are working with Uber Eats or with Shipt, or who are bringing our groceries, or the FedEx or UPS workers. And, you know, I think people have a real, in our retail clerks and others, I think people have a real appreciation. Unfortunately, they didn't before as much, for a lot of these folks in the front lines, are servers, are retail clerks, are truck drivers, and others, because they're still at risk as they keep the supply chain going. Para responder en español también, yo entiendo a empleadores que todavía no está teniendo sus empleados para usar protección por sus caras y sus manos y otras, y esta es una injusticia. Yo firmé cartas y proyectos de ley para demandar el Departamento de Ocupación de Trabajos, OSHA, incluir las recomendaciones nuevas del CDC, el Departamento de Enfermas, para tener esas recomendaciones a derechos nuevos por trabajadores. Y esta es una situación donde nosotros vemos el bravo, ayuda mucho de nuestros servidores y personas conduciendo trucks y distribución y otros miembros de nuestra comunidad, y necesita tener protecciones nuevas por nuestros lugares de trabajar. Y también, si hay empleados en este llamado hoy, quien tiene empleadores, quien está haciendo por favor, contacta mi oficina después de esta llamada también, y nosotros podemos ayudarse con una aplicación, un complaint, una demanda por OSHA, porque puede posiblemente empujar su empleador para hacer la cosa justicia. And I know this has happened with some Unite Here union members. So we've been working with them on a recent case just at the airport restaurants this week. So we're familiar with a lot of our unions have stepped up to help us with this area too. Thank you, Mildred.
I do have another question, and since the Hispanic community is growing in the positive cases, you saw Mayor Demings, that he put it out on zip codes, area codes, and we know that we are the highest one. Why we don't have a center to supply with tests in our community? I mean, our community don't have the way to get all the way to the convention center, all the way to the UCF, right in the middle of Semoran, where the concentration is higher. Why do we have a center, even if it's a small center, that people can come and be tested in Semoran, in the area where the Hispanic community, or in the Black community, which is the one that is suffering the most?
I am happy to forward that request to our commissioners and our mayor. A lot of those testing sites are decided on the local level. And I'll also encourage our hospitals to do that. Many people can go to hospitals like Advent Health over on Curry Ford. Many of you may know I live in Kissimmee, but I lived in East Orlando off of Cimarron and La Costa for many years. So I know that neighborhood like the back of my hand. And so we will forward that request to our commissioners. Do we have any of our Orange County commissioners on the line? Okay, we'll make sure too, because we have 3 Latinas now in the commission. So
Yes.
we will work with them. We have more representation than we've ever had from the Hispanic community now in the Orange County Commission, and we'll ask them for that because I know in East Orlando in particular there is one of the hottest spots in the district, and because of the density of the population there, and so we're happy to help you with that. Nosotros, la pregunta era para tener un sitio para exámenes en el este de Orlando, en el corredor de Cimarron, un área yo viví en el pasado. Yo vivo en Kissimmee ahora, y esta es una decisión local, pero voy a trabajar con nuestros hospitales y nuestra comisión de Orange, con 3 latinas en la comisión ahora, para preguntar por un sitio nuevo. Thank you for that. We're going to take our next question. Thank you, Mildred, for those wonderful questions.
Thank you.
Shayla, did we have questions on the line written?
Yes, I have one from Sulma Velas Estrada. She's saying there's concerns that students are going to go back to school in Orange County on May 1st against the provisions to stay home. Please let us know how this can be changed. Thank you.
Zoma, thank you for always being the conscience of our community and fighting for justice. I appreciate that. I do not expect that our students will be going back to school during the rest of this school year, and that we may even see graduations change a little bit and be pushed till July. Yo tengo una expectación. Nosotros no vamos a reabrir nuestras escuelas por el resto de este año de escuela. Ustedes saben, el fin es en mayo, en un año normal, cualquier área corre. Y hay posibilidad para tener eventos de graduación en el más temprano, en julio. Y otros eventos por los seniors. So and that didn't come up on the call yesterday, and we had our school board members on there. We had several of the folks who work for the Orange County School District on the line. With the peak being in April 21st, as we talked about, or one of the first things I mentioned on the call, we'll still see a plateau of flattening slowly but surely of our cases. So we may not be in a position until early to mid-May at the earliest. And even then you have to have enough tests. And that's a big fight that the president doesn't seem to get right now, that we have to have enough tests to know and get everybody who wants to test before we can truly and honestly keep people safe and have the stay-at-home order lifted. Otherwise, we're not keeping track of anything, and we could just have another hotspot and another major outbreak right after we just got rid of it, or at least lowered it. So two things need to happen. We need to see that decline happen, which will be slow but surely from April 21st over the next few weeks after that. And we have to have enough tests so that everybody can get a test who needs a test. And because of President Trump's delay of over 5 weeks in production, we filed our first bill on March 6th, and they were still saying it was a hoax at that time. And he didn't file the national emergency until mid-March. And so it's going to be so critical that we have enough tests and that we have our numbers decreasing in a significant way for a sustained period of 14 days for us to really start lowering a lot of these social distancing effects, or we could have another major outbreak right as we unwind them, and it'll last even longer. En español, nosotros vamos a tener el más alto casos de coronavirus más o menos en 21 de abril, y vamos a tener un poquito menos y un poquito menos por semanas después. Es esencial por dos cosas para ocurrir, para terminar el orden para quedar en su hogar. Primero, necesita bastante exámenes por toda la gente quien necesita un examen para asegurar nosotros podemos investigar, manejar todo el rato de las enfermas y quien tiene la enfermedad de coronavirus. Y segundo, necesita una reducción consistente por 14 días. Este es el tiempo por la transmission de este coronavirus. We use 14 days because that's the transmission period. You could be in contact with it on day one and not get it until 14 days later. So we know for sure it's a reduction if it stays for 14 days. So thank you, Zoma. We will absolutely, unless a miracle happens, we will absolutely be opposing reopening on May 1st. We want our kids to be safe. We want them to come back, do their distance learning this year and come back next year safe, knowing that we're going to be prepared for any reemergence, and that the coronavirus has gone down to levels where we can protect everyone. One last thing I'll say about it. Over 700,000 people died from the Spanish flu in 1918. If we could keep this low, I'll consider it, even as tragic as to lose so many people, we've saved so many others. If we can keep that in mind, that it could be, we can lose hundreds of thousands of people beyond the tragedy of already losing tens of thousands of people. So thanks for that question. We're going to take our next question.
Congressman, good afternoon. This is Georgina Pinero along with the City of Orlando. How are you doing, sir?
Can you speak a little louder?
Yeah, this is Georgina Pinero along with the City of Orlando. How are you doing, sir?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for giving us the opportunity one more time to reach out to you and talk to you. I want to thank Vivian also for her help. Mayor Dyer had a meeting with the 11 multicultural chambers. And the main concern that they have about these small businesses is applying online, and you already addressed that. The other concern that was brought to our attention, and we reached out to your office, Kyle Shepard, who is the director of the government affairs for the city, reached out to your office, and Vivian responded immediately that you will look into it. It's about the chambers. They don't have the CARES Act, does not protect the chambers, or they're not able to qualify for that. What you will be helping us do to help the chambers, because those organizations are the ones that helping the small businesses through this process.
Well, thank you for those great questions, Dr. Rolón, and thank you so much for what you and the chief do to represent us so well in the Hispanic community and to protect us. First, in CARES 2, which is the next CARES Act that we think will pass in late April, early May, we're going to fight to include chambers of commerce, 501c6s. We included 501c6s, chambers of commerce, in the House bill, and the Senate rejected it, and it ultimately did not get in the bill. I know the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the Puerto Rican Chamber of Commerce, the Brazilian Chamber of Commerce, and many other chambers of commerce that represent Hispanic entrepreneurs, in addition to Prospera, in Central Florida, are hurting. And they're all maybe also grants that we're helping them apply for right now. Nosotros vamos a ayudar con comisiones de comercios. Hay mucho por la comunidad de hispano que está afectado y ellos no pueden recibir fondos por negocios pequeños porque ellos no cualifican. Era en nuestro proyecto de ley de la Cámara de los Estados Unidos, pero programa era negado al Senado y no era en la proyecto de ley final. I do want to say one other thing, because I know we've been working with you and with the mayor and with Stephanie Murphy and Val Demings on getting more personal protective equipment for our first responders in the city of Orlando. And we put out a letter just several days ago, Congresswoman Murphy and I, to fight for that, because Orlando has the 4th highest number of cases of any metro area or the city in and around it than of any city in the state. So we need to make sure our first responders, like the chief and others, have everything they need. So we've been making daily calls to the Florida Department of Emergency Management. Some of this flows through the Orange County Department of Emergency Management, a lot of the supplies. So we'll keep fighting for you all, knowing that we need to make sure to protect our first responders. Gracias, Dr. Rolón, y jefe de la Policía Rolón también. Nosotros estamos trabajando con ustedes con nuestra carta con Congresista Murphy por más recursos de protección personal por nuestros bomberos y policía, enfermeros y doctores. Y nosotros sabemos Orlando tiene el 4 más altos casos por una ciudad en Florida y necesita tener todo este recursos, y vamos a continuar luchando para tener nuestra proporción justo en el estado. So thank you, Dr. Rolón, for all that you did.
Congressman,
Thank you, Congressman. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Sorry, I have Padre Jose Rodriguez who has a question.
Padre, welcome.
Thank you so much, and happy Good Friday, everyone on the phone. Thank you so much for having this call today. It really means a lot to all of us. The church is near the 32822 zip code. We're actually up on the border, right next to it. 40% of our congregation either lives in 32822 or is in the zip codes abutting it. We've been working closely also with the workers at the airport who HMS host let go. So we really have been feeling this from a lot of different areas. But our concern among the many, the main one, is food certainty, like hunger relief. My concern is TFAP. I know that requirements have been relaxed on the individuals that receive TFAP, but I'm hoping there's a way that requirements can be relaxed on pantries that give TFAP. A lot of TFAP is a very, it's a thing that has a lot of regulations and rules to it, and it's something that needs kind of like a professional hand in managing it at a food pantry. But sadly, all our food pantries are staffed by volunteers, people that come in out of the kindness of their heart, who try to do the best they can. But as volunteers who aren't there every day, they're going to make mistakes. And also, the paperwork burden on a food pantry is tremendous. So I was curious for a season in the way that free food is being given to all children, regardless of whether they're qualified or not. If TFAP can be relaxed for a season to help other food pantries participate in that and get food to needy communities. But then my other concern is the logistics chain. Food pantries rely on donations from supermarkets. Supermarkets are selling a lot of food because people are hoarding, so they're not going to have food to donate. And also the food supply is being disrupted. So eventually it's going to snowball into not only are people not going to be able to afford food because they're losing their jobs, but also they're not going to be able to find food at their food pantries because, you know, we also participate in a supply chain where we go to larger regional food pantries, we go to supermarkets to get donations to feed our neighbors, and they're going to be disrupted either from food hoarding or disruptions in the food chain. So I'm curious if anyone's looked at strengthening food pantries beyond MREs. You know, the answer I've gotten is we have MREs. You know, I grew up eating food from food pantries. I remember eating from MREs. It's okay, it's food, it's sustenance, but I think our country can do better for its citizens than MREs. And I think some attention should be given to the logistics chain where we all get our food from. So I leave that with you, Congressman. You all have supported us and you all have listened. But, you know, I put this question to you, this concern to you, you know, that the food pantry system might be disrupted.
So first of all, Pastor Jose, thank you so much for all your leadership. We could use your prayers more than ever now as a fellow person of faith. And I want to highlight just the amazing work that our faith community is doing to help out so many in need. You all are a critical ally in this response, both in faith and in good works. Let me start from the macro level and work our way down because there's a lot of information that we need to cover in this. First, from the macro level, we did get a bunch of new money to the program, $48.9 billion split to help both food assistance and to help our farmers. A lot of that flows through Second Harvest in our area and Feeding Tampa Bay to a lot of the local food pantries. I've instructed both Shayla and the rest of the staff to help you with any TFAP applications, and we'll certainly, if you can give us all the issues that are standing in your way right now, I'm also happy to do amendments to a CARES 2 package to waive some of those requirements that may require a law to waive versus a letter, which we'll also commit to doing. In addition, I do want to make sure everybody understands we do not have a food shortage right now. We have a food hoarding problem.
Yeah.
So I don't want anybody to fear from what you're talking about that anybody thinks there is no food shortage in this country, but we do have a serious food hoarding problem. I get briefed every week about all these different commodities that are in all these different farms and all these different proteins that are in livestock that's being raised, and fruits and vegetables. And there is no food shortage now, and not much difference from the year before. But what happens is when everybody goes in and buys and hoards all these different foods, it takes time to get the trucks to restock those shelves. Just like with toilet paper, there is no real, it's a hoarding problem to the nth degree. And I only bring that up because I know a lot of people have seen that in the news lately. And so all of you as leaders, we really need you to step up among your communities of influence, like the church, to say, please don't hoard food. Don't stock up on all the food in the shelves, because all you're doing is hurting seniors and persons with disabilities and others who have to go at special times because that the grocery stores have set up because people are hoarding food. And I get it. People are afraid. Everybody's afraid. And I understand where they're coming from. But they have to be strong, and they have to think of others in the community because it's going to be together that we get through this. And so there is no shortage of food, but we do have a local and national food hoarding problem that has affected these things. I know you all used to work with Second Harvest, or you always
no, they're the supplier of our food. They're a good partner, and I agree it's food hoarding. But what's driving up, because people are hoarding food at the supermarket, the elderly who only get one shot a week to go shopping, I'm seconding your point. They can't find the food there, so they come to the food pantry to find it. So people that normally wouldn't go to a food pantry are coming because they can't find what they need at the supermarket because people are buying it all.
So let me add to that too. So in addition to the resources that your church and other food let me step back. So the way it works is you see these big numbers I'm citing. Most of that money flows through the local food bank of each individual area. So in our district in Orange and Osceola County, that is Second Harvest, and in Osceola County, that is Feeding Tampa Bay. And then they work with Pastor Jose and others to help supply their food pantry, but you still have to pay them a small amount for that I assume is going up because of the demand, and so that makes it harder for you. Obviously, it's very subsidized. In addition, though, we have our school breakfast and lunch program that I hope everybody understands, and I know, Pastor, you've been a leader in helping keep the community aware. Any student could go to any school in the county they live to get free breakfast or lunch during the weekdays. And in many cases, if the school also has a pantry, they can also get groceries. So we really want to encourage folks to use those programs too, because those programs are well funded. They are part of what also gets a lot of this money. And in a place like Polk County, they're the foundation. Because unfortunately, the further out you go from the urban area where a food bank is, a lot of times the number of pantries drop off. So in Polk County, we have far less pantries than we do in Osceola per capita or in Orange per capita, like the pantry that Father Jose has. So the schools become an even bigger part of the foundation of supplying food for folks. There is one other development I want to talk about to fully address the pastor's question. In the extension, as we speak, that I mentioned before, we are fighting for a 15% increase in SNAP benefits and food assistance to help out families to receive SNAP. And Pastor, if that's something that our office can help you with, any of your parishioners, if they're not already qualified for SNAP, my office can help with that. I know our state legislators can too. We should have everybody who has any food insecurity or doubt apply for these programs so that there's multiple tiers of support. There's the pantry at the church. There's the school programs for all our families with students. And then there's the SNAP program where they could use those SNAP debit cards to go to grocery stores. And when we combine all this stuff, we will make sure no one goes hungry in Central Florida. And we'll know over the next week whether there's a 15% increase in those benefits, because that's going to be absolutely critical as more and more people rely on it. And you could see some increase in the price for food pantries because there's more demand and less supply because more people are just buying it through the stores right now. I mean, the grocery stores are unfortunately doing very, very well because people are hoarding right now. So I'm going to summarize that in Spanish because I know there's a lot of information. But Pastor, we appreciate you. And if you haven't received it already, we put together an English version and a Spanish version of videos for your church for you to be able to utilize over the next couple of days. So if you haven't received those yet, they were already made. And of course, this video will be online for everybody. Para un summary en español, primero, yo voy a trabajar con Pastor Jose por una aplicación de TFEP, TFAP, y para ayudar con más flexibilidad. Este es muy importante por nuestros, ¿cómo se dice pantry en español? El pantry.
Banco de alimentos. Banco de alimentos.
Barco de
Banco.
Gracias. Y también todos nuestros estudiantes pueden visitar cualquier escuela. Ellos no necesitan asistir a esta escuela. En el condado donde ustedes viven y puede tener almuerzo o desayuno por los lunes a viernes cada semana. Y tercero, ustedes tienen el programa de SNAP, asistencia de comida, y en ese momento nosotros estamos negociando en la Cámara con la mayoría de demócratas, con el Senado, con la mayoría republicanos para aumentar beneficios de SNAP, de comida asistencia de comida por un aumento de 15% para ayudar con familias. Y finalmente, nosotros no tenemos un problema con bastante comida en producción con nuestras fincas y rancheros y ranchos y otras áreas. Tenemos un problema con personas comprando mucho más que ellos necesitan. Se llama hoarding en inglés. Y es muy importante para pensar a sus otros miembros de su comunidad, los mayores y las personas con disabilidades y otras familias. No hay un problema con bastante comida en los Estados Unidos. Hay un problema con demasiado muchas personas comprando más que ustedes necesitan. Y juntos nosotros podemos arreglar ese problema. We're going to stick around for a few extra minutes because I know we started late. Let's take our next question, Sheila.
We have Jimmy Torres Velas.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Primero que todo, thanks to Sheila and to Vivian and to you to organize this call. I really appreciate this opportunity. Yo estoy muy preocupado por la situación en Puerto Rico. Sabes que mi corazón siempre está allá. Y me gustaría saber si la Comisión de Recursos Naturales, el director Gallego y tú, podrían hacer una acción preemptive para asegurar que los fondos de CARE lleguen rápidamente a la gente en Puerto Rico, porque hay mucho deseo de la administración de no darle los dineros a Puerto Rico. Algunas veces ha sido self-inflicted, ¿verdad? De parte del gobierno de Puerto Rico, pero aún así la gente es la que está sufriendo. This Natural Resources Commission, important that oversees the situation in Puerto Rico. So that's one thing. And another thing, I want to invite you and Senator Torres to a food drive that the Advanced Community Outreach Center will have this Monday. Norberto Fonseca place. On Monday from 9 o'clock on, we're gonna have like a car, and we're gonna put the food in the people's car on Monday from 9 to 1. Okay,
so let me take both those questions on. First, unlike the Hurricane Maria disaster funds that have to be approved, each section of it by the Trump administration before it even gets to Puerto Rico. And then of course we know, unfortunately, all the money has to go through the central government under Puerto Rico law, and they really need to change that because we have a lot of our local governments, when Florida has a hurricane, they get the money directly through community development block grants, HUD grants, and others. In the case of CARE Act dollars, Puerto Rico will get them as soon as any state would. There's no additional steps that the Trump administration have to approve through secretarial discretion. But we are very concerned still because we don't trust them. So I sent out a letter as soon as yesterday that I signed on with Nydia Velasquez, Representative Velasquez, about the food program and getting that relief out quickly. Because another place where things get stuck is in the central government. There's information in a tweet on my Twitter account in English and in Spanish with all that information. But as things come up where you hear being rolled out slowly, please work with Shayla and with Vivian to get me that information, because unlike during Hurricane Maria or unlike during Hurricane Maria or during the earthquakes, right now, Central Florida, my own district, is in crisis. So a lot of my time is spent right here, focusing right here. My heart, even though I wasn't born in Puerto Rico like you, my father was born in Puerto Rico, and I'm of Puerto Rican descent, also is important in Puerto Rico, and I want to help as best I can, but I may not have all the latest information like I would during Hurricane Maria or the earthquakes, because our district is on fire right now. And so I'm working 7 days a week to make sure that we're taking care of all of our constituents, but we care about our brothers and sisters on the island. So don't assume I know it as quick as you do, because as quick as I'm following it, you may be even following it even quicker, which is why we're doing this. So I'm happy to, other than the food assistance, what other benefits have you heard are slow going right now?
No, I'm worried about the checks that people are gonna get. So,
So
just to make sure that they're working.
So what we want to do is, for anybody who already gets their direct deposit, they're going to get their checks next week, including 99% of Social Security beneficiaries get their checks through direct deposit. So they'll get them next week. Anybody who gets their tax refund through direct deposit, they're going to get next week. But for people who don't, it's going to go from the poorest folks will get the checks first on up through the $99,000 a year folks. And it could take weeks as for the people who are wealthier. But next week, they will open up an internet portal where you could request a direct deposit check. It is essential for everyone in our community to request a direct deposit check. You will get it so much quicker. And for a family of four in our district that makes less than $150,000 a year, which is most families, they're going to get $3,400. So it's going to be a lifeline for so many people. Voy a explicar en español, and I'm going to take your second question after that. Primero, hay una diferencia con los fondos de Hurricane María, de fondos de desastre y recuperación, y estos fondos por el proyecto de CARES Act y la respuesta de coronavirus. Puerto Rico tiene un tratamiento el mismo de los estados. Y los cheques, no hay un otro proceso en adición que pasando esta ley, es automáticamente va a enviar a todas las personas en los estados y los territorios en la misma manera. Es muy importante por personas en Florida Central y en Puerto Rico para, si usted no recibe el depósito directamente, para preguntar cuando el sitio de internet es abierto en la próxima semana para preguntar por un depósito directamente. Porque si no, las personas con los ingresos más pequeños van a recibir cheques primero y con las personas con más dinero y más dinero después. Pero este puede tener semanas por toda la gente para recibir una cheque física. Entonces, mi mensaje es muy claro. Toda nuestra comunidad necesita aplicar en el internet por un depósito directamente y usted va a recibir este cheque mucho más pronto. Y por una familia de 4 miembros, 2 niños y 2 papas que ganan 150,000 o menos, que es la mayoría de nuestro distrito, ustedes van a recibir $3,400. Este es un milagro. Y es el Congreso trabajando por ustedes. Yo escribí una carta con el representante Velázquez sobre asegurar el gobierno central en Puerto Rico. Usa los fondos inmediatamente por asistencia de comida. Y el único otro problema es en Florida, ciudades pueden recibir fondos directamente al gobierno federal, y en Puerto Rico todo esto necesita ir primero al gobierno federal, al gobierno central en Puerto Rico, y después ellos distribuyen a los ciudadanos, y este puede hacer el proceso más despacio. For the food drive, Jimmy, we've been instructed not to, as members of Congress, to not go into major crowds right now, because I could have to go up to vote soon, and we need a quorum for the next couple bills. So I'm happy to get on the phone to speak to everybody, to thank them for what they're doing. But they've been very, very serious, because we've had multiple members, because you know who I am. I'm a guy who shakes everybody's hand, and abrazos por todo, and I'm friendly by nature. That's why I have Vivian, who always makes sure that I have a secure situation, because I don't even think about that stuff. Nuestra comunidad es mi familia. But they've instructed us to not do any public events not only to show leadership, but also because we could have a real problem with quorum to pass some of these bills if too many members are sick. So if you want to get me on the phone to say hello to everybody, I'm happy to do it, but they've been given us strict instructions to make sure that I can cast our vote for 900,000 people counting on me in Central Florida. And there are some folks who are older or have pre-existing conditions. They're not going to come back to DC, members of Congress. So those of us who are younger, who don't have pre-existing conditions, there's a big pressure on us to stay healthy so that we have a quorum to pass whatever legislation.
Victor is laughing. I will clap for you.
That I'm not describing anybody else. I'm just saying for some of our members who are over 65 and those with pre-existing conditions, our caucus has said, if you feel at all uncomfortable, don't come up, because we need at least a majority of the House to be there for a quorum call and to pass a bill, if it's not unanimous. So, but with that, I'm happy to cheer you all on. I know I'm going to take one more question. Do we have a written question next, Shayla?
Congressman Soto, it's Myra Uribe.
Oh, Commissioner, great.
How are
Thanks for
you? And
coming.
my apologies. I was late. I was out delivering food in the community.
No, you're leading. Please, any statements you'd like to make or any questions to help close us out?
Yes. I know we've recently, thank goodness, have gotten a lot of exposure regarding the lack of minority testing, and we're working very, very difficultly. I'd love to see something easier to our community and closer to home, but it's incredible. I've been doing virtual town halls with parents in schools, and they are they don't have the knowledge or the information to really get out there. And if there's any way that we can continue to get this out in the Hispanic community and African American community, I think it's amazing. But we're very behind on this, and it's very frightening as we see the numbers like in our Azalea Park and Pine Castle area.
Well, thank you for your leadership. That's why we're doing this call today in English and Spanish, and it'll be available for anybody to view on our Facebook page and to be downloaded for anybody who wants to play it on your radio shows or put it on your individual websites. Gracias por todo. Sus esfuerzos liderazando nuestra comunidad, Comisionero Uribe. Y esta llamada va a estar en video y en nuestra página de Facebook en inglés y en español para asegurar toda nuestra comunidad puede entender. There was one question earlier on, Commissioner Uribe, about trying to get a community testing site like we have an iDrive in the East Orange area or East Orlando area. You had mentioned already some of the hot spots on Cimarron that you're obviously already aware of because you already mentioned them. So I wanted to pass along that feedback of something that maybe we could work on together.
Absolutely, and I thank you for that, and please, it'll be something that I bring up with the mayor's office today, and your support would be so great in this endeavor.
You bet. We'll be happy to write a letter of support. Gracias, Comisionado Uribe. Y nuestra pregunta que el comisionado responde ya es para tener un otro sitio por exámenes de coronavirus en el este de Orlando, y nosotros vamos a trabajar juntos para preguntar. Y yo tengo mucho orgullo por nuestras 3 latinas en el comisionero de Orange, including our champion, Myra Uribe. Everybody for being on this call. Again, it'll be on our Facebook page later on for anybody who wants to review it later. Any questions that weren't answered, we got you. We're going to still answer them via email afterwards. So if your question didn't get answered, we're still going to make sure you get a response. It's going to take our community together to get through this. And I know that as we get through the next couple of weeks and get more back to normal, that we're all praying for that, and thank you for all being on the call. But we get through this together. There's no doubt. Gracias a todos por asistiendo a esta llamada en inglés y en español. Este va a estar un recordatorio en mi página de Facebook para recordar o para reproducción. Nosotros sabemos esta es una crisis sin precedente y estas próximas semanas va a estar muy difícil pero nosotros estamos ayudando con el Congreso y con el estatal y con el Estado y nuestros gobiernos locales, y juntos nosotros vamos a sobrevivir a esta crisis y regresar a prosperidad. Gracias a todos por asistiendo a esta llamada y se bendiga a todos. Gracias.
Javier.
Sí,
Hey, dame tu número de teléfono a ver que no lo tengo. Le he preguntado a Erika.
oye María, tú sabes qué yo hacía, yo estaba tratando de buscar en escrito para contestarte porque no había visto que tú me contestaste.
¿Cuál es tu pregunta?
Mira, ¿qué va a pasar con nosotros los que hemos pedido la ayuda de los condados para la renta
Ajá.
cuando se cumpla el paso de 45 días, si es que todavía el condado no ha trabajado con tanto volumen?
Después de los 45 días, lo que estamos tratando de hacer es extender las cosas más que todo. Y yo puedo trabajar con el congresista para pedirle eso, porque ahora el momento ellos no pueden hacerte una eviction, no te pueden botar de la casa, pero solo son para esa duración, ¿cierto? Entonces uno
Sí,
quiere extender eso.
sí,
¿Por qué no?
porque lo que sucede es que como estamos esto es tan impredecible lo que estamos pasando, porque los números suben, ¿verdad? Y suben subiendo y lo que se espera, pues, puede cambiar y vemos que tenemos más asuntos de personas que llenan, de personas como los desempleos. Entonces, la preocupación mía es que el condado no pueda trabajar con todas las solicitudes en el tiempo que dieron de 45 días y entonces la persona se vea entonces el próximo mes con 2 meses de renta.
Sí, ok. ¿Y tú lo has hecho esto porque el gobernador fue el que dijo que no podían votar a nadie si no pagaban su renta, pero a nivel local, ¿qué es lo que han hecho con el comisionado?
Pues el alcalde aquí habló sobre la ayuda, cómo aplicar. Yo apliqué, por ejemplo, en mi caso, y ya me llamaron, pero todavía son como 3 llamadas. La primera es tú aplicas, la segunda ellos te reconocen, ¿verdad? Con
Sí.
aplicación, y la tercera tú sometes los documentos que ellos te piden para entonces pagar. Esa es la que hasta el día de hoy no me ha llegado a mí. Eh,
Ya.
eh,
Pero ¿cuándo fue la última vez que te comunicaste con ellos?
la semana pasada.
La semana pasada. Ok.
Pasada creo que fue entre miércoles y viernes, pero ya pasó una semana, no recibí una llamada esta semana. Vamos a ver si la otra, pero que es una inquietud, ¿verdad? Porque yo sé que el volumen de personas llegó a 20,000 o a 20 y pico de mil de personas reclamando el beneficio.
Pero el beneficio era ¿para qué? ¿Para que ellos te paguen la
Para
renta?
renta, para renta, sí.
Ya. Es que ese es un beneficio nomás, pero tienes razón, está bien competitivo. Eso es lo que ofrecieron aquí en el condado de Osceola y no, fueron 1,500.
Exacto. El condado de Osceola lo cerró 2 días después o 3 días después que cerró el de
Sí,
Orange.
yo sé.
Ujú.
Entonces tú lo que hiciste nada más es aplicar para eso, pero no has oído nada de ellos. Y me estás diciendo que es de 3 pasos. Te
Sí.
entrevistan y ¿qué más?
Entrevista, o sea, solicita, te
Ujú.
llaman, te entrevistan y luego en la tercera te vuelven a llamar para someter documentos que ellos te piden como evidencia de los que viven contigo, ingresos,
Claro, y eso es lo que tú no te han hecho a ti todavía.
Exacto.
Ok. ¿Cuál es tu dirección?
1950
Ajá.
Nicole
Ujú.
Lee
Ajá.
Circle,
Ok.
apartamento 812,
Ajá.
Apopka, Florida 32703.
3203.
703.
Ok. Y fue al condado, ¿no? Al condado donde tú aplicaste.
Orange. Ujú.
Alright. Alright. Entonces déjame trabajar en esto.
Entonces la otra,
No sé qué vamos a hacer para extender eso, no sé si se pueda, pero lo que yo voy a hacer es averiguarte qué está pasando con tu aplicación.
la otra
Ujú.
es que tenía una pregunta era si hay alguna ayuda que me han preguntado muchas personas, eh, amigos, que hay alguna ayuda para esas personas que no llenan planillas, pero que trabajan, ya sea cuidando niños, limpiando casas, haciendo limpieza de landscaping, que no llenan planillas, que lo hacen una vez a la semana y le pagan con cheque. Si hay alguna ayuda para esas personas o algo que ellos puedan reclamar a nivel estatal.
Esas personas, como todo el mundo, que tenga trabajo o no tenga trabajo durante esta crisis, o que fue desempleado antes de la crisis o está desempleado por la crisis, todos van a recibir los 1,200 si es que ganan 75,000 al año o menos. Y es 500 por niño que sean menores de 18 años y es 1,200 por cabeza de familia si es que están casados. Todos reciben eso, pero
Pero no rinden planilla las que te estoy hablando. No han llenado planilla.
nunca he llenado planilla
No,
porque son...
reciben los cheques porque la persona le paga por cheque.
Sí, yo sé.
Por ejemplo, trabaja una vez a la semana limpiando la casa, gana $80 y le da un cheque de $80. En
Déjame
este momento
llamar
pues, no está trabajando por la situación y no está recibiendo esos $80 semanales.
sí,
Ella tiene evidencia de que tiene los cheques que los deposita en el banco, pero no rinde la planilla porque no llega quizás a un máximo de, no
yo te...
sé,
Dame un momentito, a ver. Estoy llamando a una muchacha en mi equipo que sabe de todo esto. Espérate.
que a lo mejor puede haber una forma o algo que tiene que llenarlo.
Sí, espérate.
¿Tú cómo estás?
Bien, aquí, trabajando como una loca, pero es que hay necesidad por todos sitios.
No, me imagino. Yo,
Hey, Angela, it's Shayla. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. So I have a stimulus check question. If a person is, for example, if a person hasn't filed their taxes, do they still get the 1,200? The reason I say that is it could be someone, for example, who does types of work where they get paid cash or under the table, or they're home taker, like home maids, or you know what I mean? They may get checks from the
Like
person. Mhm.
If they like don't make enough money to file a tax return.
Yeah, or they just don't file one in general.
I think that the check is, I can double check, but I think that it's based on your tax return. So like, I think like that's how they're doing it. Like, so if it's not your 2019 one, it's your 2018 tax return. Like, I think that's how they're computing it. I don't know for sure, and I can check to see if they can still, if they're still eligible for it. But I'm pretty sure it's just. I feel like I read some. Let me look it up, because I don't know for sure off the top of my head.
Okay, can you confirm with me and then let me know?
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Perfect. Thank you so much, okay? All right, perfect. We'll
Yeah,
talk. Bye.
Okay.
¿Cuál es tu número de teléfono que ella me va a llamar para confirmar?
El 407
Ok.
485
Ajá.
9253.
9253. Perfecto. Ok. Ya, entonces yo te llamo y te confirmo eso y yo voy a ver sobre tu caso personal con el condado de la renta, pero también tengo que ver qué piensan ellos de la extensión, si es que lo van a hacer.
Sí, pues, entonces, nada, lo otro, yo creo que lo tocaron el tema, lo otro, yo tenía lo de las escuelas que las tocaron, por ejemplo, ellos no pueden dar una decisión sobre cuándo van a empezar y cuándo van a terminar, todavía es muy pronto eso, está todavía.
Sí.
Y, pero también tenía una preocupación de las personas que son de tercera edad y discapacitadas. En mi caso, pues, estoy discapacitado. Y si hay algún tipo de ayuda que no lo escuché, pero sí creo que están pensando en ese tipo de personas, porque no podemos, como no nos podemos arriesgar, pues somos de alto riesgo, cuando vamos, yo de hecho no voy al supermercado hace 2 semanas. La última vez tuve que estar pidiendo delivery o personas que me ayudan y me los traen a la puerta.
Ajá.
Si hay algún tipo de ayuda o están pensando en cómo, que lo que el padre José habló, esas personas que cuando llegan, aunque no hay una crisis de comida, pero las personas están como siendo muy, lo que dijo él, hoarding, que están como abasteciendo.
Están
Ah,
guardando, almacenando las cosas.
exacto. Y a la verdad, yo estoy ahora mismo sin papel higiénico y
Mm,
sin un montón de cosas porque como no tenemos la opción de estar tirándonos de tienda en tienda,
ujú.
como otros que quizás lo hacen, pues, cuando vamos y no hay, tenemos que irnos con lo que hay. Entonces, yo tengo un solo pulmón, soy COPD, o sea, yo no salgo de esta puerta aquí. A ver,
Sí.
y cuando pregunto por alguien y esa persona me está haciendo el favor, me dice, Javier, no hay nada. Yo no le voy a hacer ir a otro y a otro y a otro. O sea,
Ujú.
que si hay algún tipo de ayuda que están considerando para ese tipo de personas que abogó el padre José y que yo estoy abogando ahora también, para ver cómo se le puede ayudar.
Bueno, para la gente que son de edad, las tiendas están que abren en la mañanita y,
Ujú,
y solo permiten a personas que son de edad para que vayan sean los primeros en ir a las tiendas. Tienen
ujú.
esas horas abiertas para ellos.
Y,
Pero
y hay personas que son discapacitadas, como que tienen un solo pulmón, como en mi caso,
claro, entonces,
que
pero
no
también
puede.
uno prueba eso, pero porque algunas cosas uno no puede probar físicamente, pero las tiene, ¿me entiendes? Bueno,
Ujú,
eso es algo que voy a considerar dárselo a nuestro equipo que crean las leyes ahí en DC. Tenemos un
ujú.
equipo que se encarga de la legislación. Voy a hablar con ellos sobre eso para ver si lo pueden recomendar.
O,
Ah,
o si hay algo que yo pueda hacer a través del plan médico. O sea, porque nosotros no podemos identificar que tenemos una condición, ¿verdad? Pero el plan médico sí lo sabe. Entonces,
sí.
a través del plan médico, yo tuve la oportunidad del nene que tiene autismo, me enviaron unas comidas a él, a la casa. ¿Tú sabes
Ujú,
qué
sí.
opciones tenemos nosotros? ¿Podemos usar nuestro plan médico de Medicare, que nos pueden ayudar en cositas así? O,
Claro. O delivery, que te lo dejen a tu casa.
¿no? ¿Qué opciones? A ver si hay algunas y cuáles serían para entonces saberlas.
Ok, y otra cosa, qué deshabilidad tienes tú personalmente para poder traérselo, para poder mencionárselo eso al condado de Orange en tu caso de renta?
Bueno, en el caso de renta, yo lo que pasa es que yo soy capacitado por Seguro Social y cobro una sola vez al mes. Entonces, Arlene estaba trabajando, como te dije, ella trabajaba una vez a la semana y entonces pues con eso me ayudaba. Pero entonces ahora, al verme con esta situación, he tenido que en el caso mío, por la situación del coronavirus, paré de pagar la renta, pues yo no cobro mucho tampoco, yo lo que cobro son 756. Entonces con Arlene trabajaba, completábamos para la renta, pero entonces no pude, porque Arlene no pudo salir a hacer su trabajito. Ella limpiaba la casa, en este caso el padre José, toda la semana. Entonces con eso completábamos y no pude. Entonces lo que hice fue que no pude pagar la renta del mes de abril, que la pagaba todos los días 3. Decidí no pagarla porque no tenía el ingreso de Arlene y porque tengo miedo a lo que va a pasar. O sea,
Claro, no, pero yo digo, pero ¿qué condición tienes tú que te dan el Social Security?
yo tengo un solo pulmón, soy COPD, soy diabético y hipertenso. Más aparte estoy operado de una cadera y tú sabes, no, a veces no, yo siempre estoy con terapia, oxígeno y COPD es una enfermedad crónica de la respiración.
¿Cómo se llama la enfermedad?
COPD.
Ah, ya, COPD. Sí, creo que he oído de eso.
Pulmonary disease.
Yes, ya. Ok, perfecto. Entonces déjame ver qué puedo hacer para que ustedes consigan esa extensión, pero también tengo que tratar de mover a que el congresista pida que los electos a nivel local quieran extender la extensión. Quizás lo hagan, estoy casi
La
segura.
preocupación mía es, aparte de mí, es para todos los demás, porque yo sé que aunque pensemos positivamente que todo esto va a pasar, estamos claros que son muchos los afectados.
Ujú.
Son tanto los landlords también y las diferentes, tú sabes, sitios donde complejos todos diferentes en un mismo condado. Pero el 45 días es un mes y 15 días.
Ya.
Y si vamos a ver, hay estímulos que se van a tardar, como dijo él, más de 12 semanas en llegarle el dinero, personas, ¿sabes?
Ok.
Que cada situación es diferente. Pues yo puedo ser que tenga depósito directo, pero el vecino puede ser que reciba cheque. Entonces él no va a recibir el estímulo al mismo tiempo que yo.
Ya.
Es una preocupación, no solamente por mí, también lo hago para todos los que estamos pasando la situación.
Ok. Te estoy mandando, dame tu correo electrónico a ver. ¿Cuál
Es
es?
Javi
Ajá.
180428
Ok.
@gmail.
Ok. Javi180428 @gmail. Te
Sí,
estoy
Javi, con ese
mandando-
punto.
Ok. Para las personas que no hacen, para las personas que no han perdido necesariamente un trabajo, porque no, bueno, ok. ¿Te acuerdas que estábamos hablando de los 1200? Mi amiga ya me respondió y me han dado un enlace
Ok.
del IRS donde tú tienes que ir a visitar y llenar toda tu información porque tú no haces taxes, o sea, tú no los reportas. Entonces ahí tendrías que reportarlo. Ahora, estas son personas que tienen un seguro social. Hay mucha gente indocumentada que no los hace porque están ganando dinero de otra forma, ¿me entiendes?
Okay.
Pero las personas que sí y tienen el social y todo, tienen que llenar el enlace del cual te voy a mandar por email
Ok.
y haz que lo hagan para que ellos puedan recibir los 1200. Ahora, para pedir desempleo, uno tiene que probar que fuiste desempleado
Sí. Ujú.
por
Ahí.
el virus y la crisis. Entonces, eso todo se tiene que probar. Yo diría que si una persona quiere eso y tiene son documentados, que traten de hacer la aplicación. Ahora recuerda que el website y la aplicación es una cosa bien impráctica ahora porque nunca han tenido tanta gente pidiendo dinero y estando desempleados. Pero uno puede también llenar la aplicación en papel. Si quieres, yo le diría a las personas que te están llamando sobre eso que lo hagan. Si es que lo aplican y no lo reciban porque le dicen que no, bueno, dijeron que no. De cualquier manera, esas personas que no hacen sus taxes van a recibir los 1200. Nada más tienen que llenar el enlace que te estoy mandando por email.
Ok. Perfecto.
Ok, te los mando ahora. Y cualquier otra cosa, llámame, por favor, ¿ok?
Gracias, Sheila, siempre, gracias, muchas.
No, tranquilo. Y yo voy a ver, ¿qué hago? Yo voy a ver, tu nombre completo es Javier Figueroa Sevilla,
Ortiz,
Fortiz.
es que Sevilla es el de Arlene, sí.
Ah,
Javier
ya.
Figueroa Ortiz.
Ok, Javier Figueroa Fortiz.
Or,
F-O-R.
or, or, sin la F.
Ah, Ortiz. Ah, ya, Ortiz. Ok, perfecto. All right, entonces yo voy a tratar de ver en qué está tu aplicación, en dónde quedó eso.
Te voy a dar el número ya que estás ahí, para que tengas más, vayas más directo. El
Ajá.
número del código que me enviaron.
Ok,
A mí
¿cuál
me
es?
enviaron el de la solicitud.
¿Es que es como un número de confirmación o algo?
Sí,
Ah, ya. ¿Cuál es?
yo lo tengo aquí. A ver, ¿dónde que está? A ver, ahora. En los... El código fue el 21692.
21692, perfecto.
Este
Ok,
fue el confirmation code de la ayuda Assistant COVID-19.
ok, perfect. All right, entonces a eso voy a usar ese número porque yo tengo algunos contactos a nivel locales para ver en qué quedó todo.
Ok.
Y ahora lo demás, te voy a dejar saber, muchas de las cosas que tú me estás sugiriendo son cosas que podemos decirle a nuestro equipo para que cuando el Congreso hable de estos asuntos puedan pensar en esas personas deshabilitadas, o podemos hacer recomendaciones, no sé, pedirles más de 45 días para la renta. Estos todos son sugerencias, pero yo ya sé que no
Ujú,
hay una solución para esto necesariamente, pero vamos a tener que buscar una solución.
ujú. No, porque yo quisiera que la solución fuera que se acabara ya todo este problema, de verdad, pero eventualmente todo lo que veo y lo que veo y lo que veo y sigo viendo, y después todo tiene que hacer por teléfono, porque unas personas como yo no podemos tirarnos a la calle, tú sabes, a exponernos porque somos de alto riesgo,
Obvio.
¿sabes?
Ujú,
Y yo que más veo a la gente que esto es respiratorio y tienen 2 pulmones y se mueren y yo tengo uno,
claro.
así que
Mira,
imagínate.
mira, tú tranquilo, quédate ahí y no salgas, por favor.
No,
Que
de aquí
nadie
no me
salga de
salió
casa.
nadie, no puede salir ni Arlene,
Tú
porque
estás en cuarentena para siempre hasta que esto se termine,
eso es así.
¿ok? Pero tranquilo,
Gracias Sheila.
de nada. Y mi número, te voy a dar mi número de teléfono para que lo tengas.
Yo creo que yo lo tengo, pero no, dímelo.
407-485-408.
Ajá, 6408.
No, 407-485.